do you need?
Sure. It's good. Okay, the Warrior Walk here at Snapdragon Stadium, an old tradition brought over from Qualcomm Stadium, which is nice to see. Welcome to Snapdragon Stadium in Mission Valley, the kickoff for the 100th season of Aztecs football here at San Diego State University. John Howard along with Jake Garegnani. Jake, a great day, but a hot one here in Mission Valley.
I was going to say, you and I are baking like a toasted strudel out here right now, but it is an amazing day. I mean, the vibe is awesome.
Yep.
The stadium looks beautiful. The fans are going crazy. I mean, this is everything we were looking forward to happening right now.
And what we're going to do right now, Marshall Faulk is joining us. He's going to meander his way in.
We got to give our boys some time.
We got to give him a minute. He suffered an injury. I don't know if it was a slip and fall in the kitchen, but Marshall is coming in. And Marshall, we want to appreciate you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Let's have the injury update. It doesn't look like you're ready to strap it on and take the field.
Yeah, I'm out. I'm out 2 to 4 weeks. I might be back for the 5th week of the season.
Oh my goodness. Tell us your thoughts, Marshall. You played on the field at Qualcomm Stadium.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever played on the field as a Colt or as a Ram visiting the Chargers, but what was it like coming here and seeing an empty lot out there where the stadium used to be?
It was weird. It was weird, definitely, but to see what has been constructed now, and I said this when I was here for the ribbon cutting. I was like, man, I've never been so envious of any Aztec that played here, but these kids that are going to get a chance to play here, how lucky they are and how grateful that we are as fans and alumni that we now have a place that we get to call home.
Yeah.
We're going to get to experience an awesome atmosphere, and I think the venue is just prime for what we need here in San Diego.
And to that point, Marshall, you played on some of the best Aztec teams of all time, yet maybe didn't have that home field advantage. Now they're going to have that true home field advantage. What's that mean for the players?
No, it's everything. It's everything, and I think I take it back to when we got Viejas. You know, how basketball, what it did. The program, they were winning, they were doing well, but when they left Peterson and went into Viejas, it was just a whole nother arena, the culture that was built there, and we have that culture here in football, but now we have a venue for it to fit in. The student section, they're going to get a chance to really enjoy being a part of something that's awesome, and I think the players are going to vibe from it, and then the opponent, Arizona today, they're going to get a chance to see something that they haven't seen when they've come here to play football.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how loud it is in there with the stands steeper and closer. How about for recruiting? What does this do? If you can go back to your high school years, had you come out and seen something like this, what is this going to do for recruiting?
You know, right now when I think about when you take a visit and they bring you over here to get to see this venue that you get to play in and all the amenities and what it's going to mean for you and your family and for you to get to play in a state-of-the-arts arena like this, it's more of an attraction.
Yeah.
If San Diego wasn't enough, if what they've done on campus with the football facilities and all of athletics wasn't enough, this right here is really going to cap it off.
You always hear the word thrown around, or the words, being an Aztec for life. What does that mean? What does it epitomize to be an Aztec for life?
I think it just embodies the culture of what we brought to the table in the sense of not just the athletes, but the student body, the faculty, and all of us being all of San Diego. There's no option of going up to LA. We are San Diego State Aztecs, and we are here for life.
Tell me also, I want to commend Marshall on wearing a hat today to this interview, because I am sweating like a pig, and I don't know if Marshall is, but you can't tell. The hat is soaking it all up. Tell me any predictions for this game, and what are your thoughts that the Aztecs will do against Arizona?
I expect it to be a close game in the beginning. Just the atmosphere. That first game out of the gates, you're going to see some especially on special teams, you're going to see some mishaps. But I think we'll control the line of scrimmage, and eventually we'll start to pull away right around second half, early third quarter.
Okay.
And one last question for me, Marshall. Just what were your impressions when you got to go around Snapdragon Stadium, see it all, its glory and all of that?
You know, I've seen it at different levels, and I'll be honest, I walked it maybe 6 to 8 weeks ago. I was like, man, is this thing going to be finished?
That's what I said.
And then we came here for the ribbon cut. I was like, is this thing finished? And I'm here today, I'm like, it's finished.
Yeah, that is so funny. I thought the same exact thing 4 or 5 weeks ago. I'm like, oh, they got a lot of I's to dot and T's to cross to get it ready. Marshall, thank you so much for your time, and enjoy your day and enjoy the game today.
Thanks for having me, guys.
And toughing out the injury.
Yeah, exactly. Quick Godspeed recovery on that as well.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm not sure where we're going from here, Jake. I don't know, are we going to go to a break, or we're going to throw it at...
My guess is we're going to go to Ariana, who's been bearing the elements out there with the fans, just like Marshall enjoying the stadium for the first time. So, Ariana Cohen, why don't you fill us in on how the fans are doing?
Hey guys, we're at the... Well, it's a lot of fun out here. There's all kinds of games at the tailgate area, and we'll send things back to you, John and Jake.
Thank you very much, Ariana. Luckily, she was in the nice, cooling outfit. You and I are baking out here in our suits, but it's worth every second, isn't it?
It really is. And, we were out here yesterday afternoon, Jake. It was not quite as hot, but the heat might have something to do with the sun bearing down on our backs here. Hey, we've got a whole bunch more coming up right after the break, including hearing from the head coach, Brady Hoke. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to Snapdragon Stadium. John Howard along with Jake Garegnani, where the Aztecs will kick off their 100th season of football in about, hour and a half or so. By the way, for you mathematicians out there that know that the Aztecs' first year was 1921 of playing football, and we're in 2022, that's 102 years. But this is the 100th season. The answer is back in 1943 and 44, the Aztecs didn't field a team due to World War II. So there's your math lesson for the day, Jake.
I'm an English major, so you could have said anything right there, and I would have believed you. So good. 100 years is 100 years, and it coincides perfectly with this stadium, a stadium the city has wanted for a long, long time. And I mean, you couldn't have wrote a better script for this moment, right? And we got down here via car, parking and all that, but there's going to be 35,000 people here today, if not more, around, and not everybody can drive in and park. So Regina Urita filled us in on how some of the other fans got here.
And come over here. I'm really looking forward to perhaps more student participation and more student attendance as the years go forward here.
Yeah, easier access, right? But there is a football game taking place too. Love to see all the inside workings of how everyone gets here. But a football game is going to be taking place, of course, taking on Arizona. And it's the first time the Aztecs have played a football game in San Diego in 23 games, John, since 2019. And I caught up with Brady Hoke before this game, and he's as excited as everybody else for this thing. Getting ready to kick off this season, just your feelings about this in this season.
Yeah, well, number one, being the first team to be in this stadium, and that's what we talked about. There's going to be a first guy make a tackle on a kickoff. There's going to be a first guy catch a ball for a touchdown. So it's pretty neat, just walking in. It was great to see all the Aztec Nation, and we're excited about it.
You've been in this program multiple times. You know what it was like to play in Qualcomm and in Carson. What is it going to be like to finally have a true home field advantage?
Well, there's no doubt. And I think also, for our parents of our young men, who, at Carson, it was for a year they couldn't even come. And now to have our home here, they have a destination to come to if they're out of state. And we're really excited about it and excited to see what we do today.
Who isn't excited about all this? And the return of football, all of that gets your blood pumping, your juices flowing. I'm so ready for kickoff, John. It's not even funny.
Yeah, the return of football in San Diego, as you mentioned before you threw to that piece with Coach Brady Hoke, is so wonderful. I saw so many games in Qualcomm Stadium thinking, I wish we had a little bit smaller, more intimate facility, and now we do, and it kicks off today. Can't wait. Hey, Jake and I, while we kind of drew the short straw out here in the heat, a couple of our cohorts back at the station, Steve Price and Marcus Greaves, they're coming up right after the break with some words about the opponent today. Stay with us. The Aztecs pregame show continues right after this. Welcome back to the Aztecs pregame show. John Howard, Jake Garegnani, live from Snapdragon Stadium in Mission Valley. Jake, the Aztecs are a 7-point favorite going into the game against the University of Arizona. I was watching College Game Day on the mothership.
Whoa.
We won't mention the network, but some neckbone on that network actually predicted Arizona to win outright. I am predicting an Aztec victory, but more on that later in the show. How's your Heat doing?
My Heat's doing okay. Mission Valley feels a little bit like Death Valley today, John Howard. I know the suits don't help, but it's cooking down here. But again, I think it's worth every second to be down here, taking this beautiful atmosphere. There's a couple fellows back at the station, though, that are sitting in the nice, cool AC there, Greaves and Price. I'm curious how you guys are doing, huh?
Yeah.
It feels great in here, I'm not going to lie.
Nice in here, guys.
I think it's like a nice 60 degrees in here, y'all. So, listen, you guys are doing a great job out there. But Steve Price and I, we got the hard job back here, you know. We got to hold down the studio.
That's right. That's right. Someone's got to do it. The atmosphere out there, though, guys, has got to be electric.
Having a great time in this cool studio, but you know, I think we've done our part. Jake and John, I think it's time for you guys, you know, just to take it away, man, and keep hitting that heat a little harder, please.
You know, Steve Price made a big sacrifice today. And we know that Marcus went to school at Oregon State. Steve went to school at USC, a season ticket holder.
Yes.
He's not getting to go to see his USC Trojans today because he's doing this.
It's worth
Time
it.
sacrifices from our boys back there in the AC studio. I mean the CBS studio. Sorry.
Same thing.
Company man, if I've ever seen one. Hey, thanks a lot, you guys. Look forward to checking with you a little bit later, and a whole bunch more coming here from Snapdragon Stadium. Welcome back to Snapdragon Stadium, live in Mission Valley. John Howard along with Jake Garegnani. We're, I don't know, what are we, about an hour or 2 hours away from kickoff here. San Diego State taking on the University of Arizona. The Aztecs, a touchdown favorite in the ball game. Oh, an hour? We're an hour away.
Your watch is broken.
Sorry,
pal.
yeah, the clock is not working up here either. Jake, your thoughts? Braxton Burmeister is going to be making his debut as an Aztec. Went to school at La Jolla Country Day, jumped around the college route a little bit, and now he's back here at home.
Yeah, I think the Aztecs finally have themselves a true dual threat quarterback. There's a reason this kid was recruited originally to Oregon. They spread it out. They throw the ball all over the yard, as everybody knows.
Yep.
So he's got the talent to throw the ball. Then he went to Virginia Tech, and he showed some solid flashes at VT. I'm excited to see how this guy does. He comes back home to San Diego. I really hope he's the quarterback the Aztecs have needed for almost a decade now to truly put this program over the top. It's never been a question about defense, has it?
No.
Really never been a question about special teams. Really never been a question about the run game. It's been one big question for a long time here in this program. I hope Braxton Burmeister is the guy to get them over that hump.
I have hopes, and I think he will be. And I don't know Braxton Burmeister very well. I interviewed him a couple of times when he was in high school at La Jolla Country Day. I wonder if he went up to the University of Oregon. He was instantly thrown into the mix at U of O. Tough thing to do as a true freshman. And coming out of a small school, La Jolla Country Day, it wasn't like he played big-time high school football with some of the bigger schools here in San Diego. But he did play in San Diego football, which prepares him well. And he just hasn't had that opportunity to really, truly excel and explode at the college level. And I think if he comes in here and he's comfortable, that could happen.
And something that makes a quarterback comfortable is everybody knows that watches football, a good run game, right? And he's sure going to have that here with the Aztecs, a dominant offensive line at times, great run game, so I think that should settle him in. And John, Snapdragon Stadium should host some good games here. Like the Aztecs have a bit of a soft schedule. I pulled this up. They got Arizona 1-11 today, okay? The next one, Idaho State, 1-10 last year. Toledo, Hawaii, UNLV, San Jose State, Air Force. Very winnable games here at Snapdragon Stadium, so I think the fans will see some dubs here.
Slim pickings. And we're gonna run that table. Hey, we've got more coming up over on the CW, coming up on Channel 8. College pregame show on CBS, but us here at Channel 8, click on over to the CW for more of the Aztecs pregame show.
Come follow us.
Welcome back to the second half of the Aztecs pregame show. John Howard, Jake Garegnani live at Snapdragon Stadium, where it is going to be christened today with the Aztecs taking on the University of Arizona. Jake, 100 years of Aztecs football. There's been a lot of winning throughout the years, a lot of great coaches from the Don Coryell coaching tree, and I know that the Aztecs are going to be recognizing some of these former football players at halftime today.
You start to think of the list of coaches and players that this program has put out, and it's almost endless. You know, legendary players, including one of them that our Ariana Cohen caught up with, a man that goes beyond legendary. I don't know what the next word is, but yeah, check this out.
Hey guys. Well, Jake and John, if you see this guy, you could say hi, Buns, because he goes by that. We'll send things back to you, Jake and John.
Thank you so much, Ariana. If I do see him, I will say hi, Buns. John, they might start calling us Sweaty as our nickname.
Yeah,
what a great nickname, though. You put on the sliding pads, and all of a sudden you're a little more endowed, if you will.
A little more plump back there. That's first team all nickname.
First team all name, as Howard would say.
It's so amazing. All-American in 1945.
Unbelievable.
It just speaks to the rich history of football here on Montezuma Mesa, long before you and I were ever born, Jake, or thought
well, at least me.
Long, come on now. Long before we were a gleam in our parents' eyes. It's just totally cool. And you might remember we mentioned earlier, there was no football team at San Diego State in 1943 and 1944. They were playing their games at Aztec Bowl, and then in 1945, here comes Buns, and he wins first team All-American. Totally cool thing.
Unbelievable. I still can't think of the word, but he's beyond a legend, you know? Yeah, he's immortalized. Let's go with that, immortalized. And, you know, John, we talked about this a little bit yesterday, but you think about the land around Petco Park. We were talking about new stadiums and how they come in. And the land around Petco Park, you remember what it was before they put that stadium there?
It was rather blighted, is a good adjective I would use.
And not that this area was blighted. Obviously, Qualcomm was crumbling, but it was just a big parking lot. But there are big plans, as many people know, for the area around Snapdragon Stadium. And our Abby Alford gives us an inside look about that. All right, thank you very much, Abby and John. I can't wait for all of the river walk and everything to be done here. But at the end of the day, Snapdragon Stadium is going to be the heartbeat of this site, right? And they've done a great job with the stadium. I think it's exactly what the Aztecs needed.
I agree. And looking at it, it's not your cookie cutter stadium.
Right.
There's a lot of different angles, a lot of different types of seating. One of the things I most enjoyed learning in the past week, as I went in there a handful of times, was being underneath the stadium where the players are going to come out. And right next to where the players come out is a club, a lounge, where the fans will be right up, maybe as close as you and I are. As the team gets ready to come out on the field, fans will be that close to them. Much like a Jerry World in Dallas in AT&T Stadium, where the Cowboy players walk past the fans and they're almost within touching distance. And there's that element, because the university really wanted to have the fan experience be expanded. And I think they've done a great job of that here at Snapdragon.
I think it was so important to have a uniqueness to the stadium. From the light fixtures to the way the seats are set up, to everything about that stadium. Every turn you make, there's scarlet and black, there's history. They did a really good job bringing this stadium to life, John.
Yeah, and every time I go into the stadium, I see something new. Last night it was the huge medallion that used to be on the outfield wall at Qualcomm. You and I were in the stadium about an hour ago, and here's some posters that were put up since yesterday afternoon. Jake and I were thinking it was the overnight employees at 3 a.m. putting up some posters from the WAC days, the Western Athletic Conference days in the 70s when the Aztecs played in the Western Athletic Conference. So if you come to a game, and when you come to a game, walk around, you're going to see these Easter eggs, as they call them. Totally cool thing.
Yeah. A really, really well done job, and I'm so excited to see the game here. We're going to take a quick break here, but when we come back on the pregame show, we head back into that nice, cool studio where Steve and Marcus give you more on the Arizona Wildcats and San Diego State matchup.
Welcome back, John Howard, along with Jake Garegnani live, and joining us now, one of those Aztec alums, Akbar Gbaja-Biamila. Akbar, I don't know what decade he played in. We're going to keep our ages to a minimum. But Akbar had a great career here at San Diego State. Went on to play for the Raiders and the Chargers and maybe another team or two. Akbar, your thoughts when you pull up and the old stadium gone and the new stadium here. What's it like?
You know, it's crazy when you walk up, and I was anticipating because I hadn't been. In fact, I just came in last night from out of the country, and I was anticipating what is it going to look like. I've been seeing it on social media, but to pull up, I'm like, dang, this is nice. You get that feeling, but that good, envious feeling going, gosh, I wish I could have played in this. And I called my agent and said, do I have any eligibility left? They told me I didn't. But no, it's really nice just to see it. I mean, as this is a beautiful backdrop, though. I mean, San Diego's lucky. San Diego State is lucky. And I think these athletes, all the athletes who get a chance to play in here, they will feel it. This is built on the back of so many of the great legends. I mean, you think back to Marshall Faulk and some of the older ones, Fred Dreyer and old school Carl Weathers and Slaughter. And, you know, the names go on and on. Vernon Dean, Air Coryell. But it's so cool to see all of that, all of the guys who helped build this stadium. And to see a lot of the alumni here today to watch this is great.
First off, it sounds like you need a better agent. Get some eligibility, you know, find a better agent there so we can get you back out there playing in Snapdragon. I think all of us pictured what the energy might be like today, but until you're here, you don't know, right? What do you feel the energy's like surrounding this debut?
Well, you can see, first off, the intimacy. I mean, you can see the stadium is packed, the parking lot is packed. You can see people playing cornhole. There's just, you feel that college, that community feel that San Diego State has always had. You can feel how big the football program here is at San Diego State.
Now, Akbar, I know you're currently hosting American Ninja Warrior.
Yep.
Thoroughly enjoy that show. You do very well at it. And I was going to ask you today, when are we going to get to see you run the course? But then I checked the internet, and we found video. We're going to roll that right now.
Yep.
What was that experience like? And you did it for charity, I know.
I did. You know, it was the hardest thing I'd ever trained for, ever. More so than football, playing basketball. It took me 3 months to get in shape for it. I had to do 2-a-days. But what I recognize is that these ninjas, they're different types of athletes. They can carry their body weight. You know, 260 pounds is very hard. I had to lose 13 pounds just to try to do it. But it was a great experience, and it gives me a lot more respect for the ninja athletes. I wish we could get some of the ninjas out here to come check out Snapdragon Stadium. But no, it's really cool. Maybe we should do a Ninja Warrior here at Snapdragon Stadium. Instead of doing it in LA, we do it here at Snapdragon.
Yeah, that would be a great event to have. By the way, I want to commend you. When you ripped off your shirt, I want to commend you on the black and red pants that you were wearing.
Yes,
sporting your Aztec colors.
There you go. See, yes, you look. Hey, see, you picked up on that. You know, they don't let you wear logos on TV.
Okay.
But I said, you know what? I'm going to wear my red and black because I'm proud to always wear the red and black as an Aztec.
Now, as good as you looked in Ninja Warrior going through the course, we also found video of you throwing out a first pitch at the Philadelphia Phillies.
Wait, what? Hold on. Where?
Never lies, Akbar.
No, well, you know what? This was done in CGI. This was
one of the holograms?
Yes, one of the holograms. This was not me throwing out a first pitch. Look, see what had happened was. Okay. Can I just be honest? I felt honored to throw out a first pitch. I thought, man, I've never been asked to do this before. And I was like, I want them to know that I'm still an athlete. And if I wanted to, I could play baseball. First, I got to the mound, and I never knew, because I didn't grow up playing baseball, I never knew the mound was that far.
60 feet, 6 inches.
I'm like, yo, this is far. So if you really look closely, I actually cheated and went down.
You did.
I said, oh, no, there's
Smart.
no, I don't want them to see it, and I'm going to throw this heater. And I got my Dennis Eckersley on, and I did the long leg. And man, I didn't look nothing like Dennis Eckersley, man. It was so embarrassing, and it was humbling because I went from a loud cheer, and everybody was like, oh, man, this is humbling. Like, everybody's saying, yeah, we love you. And when I did it, the booze in Philly was so, it was so loud. I was like, God, please just make me get out of Philadelphia alive.
They're relentless there in Philly, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
No
yes,
doubt
they
about
are.
it. We're going to have to bring you back to Petco Park and do it again.
Yeah.
Chance of redemption with the Padres.
I can redeem myself.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
And this time you can train for 3 months like you did for the Ninja Warrior.
Really, 3 months to throw out a first pitch?
I think so. I bet you it'll be
Come on, John!
I bet you it'll be a strike.
Akbar, we really appreciate your time and enjoy your afternoon here.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Enjoy the stadium.
You might see me suit up, too. You might. You never know.
Get the agent on the horn.
All right, right now we are going to go back to the studios where it's nice and air-conditioned for Marcus Greaves and Steve Price. Guys, go ahead and take it away.
I'm just nervous that you're going to find some old video of us and, bring it out. Akbar was a good sport about that.
Yeah, and listen, once I saw that Ninja Warrior stuff, I was like, see, this is how I know I am no longer an athlete, because that's crazy. He's older than me, and I don't know how he did that. Steve?
By Arizona. There was a time, like prior to the Rocky Long era, when the Aztecs were playing a Pac-10 school or a Big 5 power conference school, I think there was an intimidation factor there that they didn't believe they could win. That has changed. And in the last 6 years, Aztecs have won 7 of their last 9 against Pac-12 opponents. Looking very good.
Yeah, as the old saying goes, winning solves everything, right?
It does.
When you have a winning program, you don't go in there scared. You don't go in there intimidated. You go in there knowing you're the better team, and I think we're going to see that today. The Aztecs, the Wildcats have everything to prove, not the Aztecs today.
I think you're absolutely right, especially with the Arizona Wildcats coming off a 1-11 season.
Well, we are just moments away from the debut of Snapdragon Stadium, and I caught up with head coach Brady Hoke, who's excited, just like all of us. What are your expectations for football-wise for today? Arizona, a lot of unknown questions, right? Brought in a ton of new guys, not the team you guys played last year, right?
No doubt. They're a different team, and we're a different team. We got 7 guys who made pro camps who were on our team a year ago. So we're a different team. I like how we've progressed during fall camp, during the summer. You know, we're young up front offensively. We got 2 new pieces defensively up front with Justin and Cooper McDonald. So, and they've been great fits for us.
You mentioned how important this was for the parents to have this place and the players, but how about the city? I mean, you think about what the city's gone through with the charges and all of that. To have something they can call their own, what does that mean for San Diego?
Well, I think it's awesome. I think it's awesome for, obviously, San Diego, you know, and we like to talk about the guys who came before us, you know, the great coaches who have coached here, the great players who have played here, and they really built the foundation. And then what, you know, our administration was ever able to do, JD, Adela, and to get this thing done in 2.5 years, I think that's right, but pretty remarkable.
Unbelievable. All right, final question I have for you, just expectations for the season. I know you're focused on the Wildcats, but what do you think about this year?
Well, number one, you can't win them all if you don't win the first one, right? So we've got to concentrate on doing that and then taking it one day at a time like we have.
All right, Brady. Go get them. Appreciate everything.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yep, thanks.
Brady Hoke mentioned that Snapdragon.
And they're going to pitch it to him. Can he get to the edge? He can. Williams, touchdown, Arizona.
Well, unfortunately, that was a sight we saw too often, the Arizona Wildcats getting the ball into the end zone or through the uprights as Arizona comes out and absolutely dominates the Aztecs, despite the fact the Aztecs were a touchdown favorite in this one. Jake, your thoughts? Obviously not the way the Aztecs wanted to see things go. Arizona just came out and played well.
I was surprised. You know, we had talked in the pregame show about how much we didn't really know about this Wildcats team, and I think it showed. They brought in a ton of new players, and they came out here and, I mean, no better way to say it, dominated this game, and it's a bummer. You know, you wanted this to go well. You wanted this to go well for the city of San Diego, for Snapdragon Stadium, and you can't sugarcoat it. It didn't go well at all. At times, honestly, embarrassing.
I agree with you. We have some sound coming up with Brady Hoke in a moment, but I want to first set it up by saying, in watching the first quarter, the first couple of possessions, I saw an Arizona team that came out and wanted to just stick it to the Aztecs, and I felt like the Aztecs were back on their heels a little bit. I felt Arizona was offended by being a 6.5-point underdog, and they came out and they wanted to send a message. Part of my interview with Brady was asking him about that. He disagreed, but let's take a look at what Brady had to say after the game. Not the way the game we expected to go. Your thoughts of what unfolded here?
Well, we made too many mistakes. We didn't stop the run defensively. You know, they got real momentum in the first 2 series of the game when they had the football. So, I mean, we got to play a heck of a lot better on defense. You know, we got to keep our quarterback upright. That would always help. And, you know, we got to rush the ball.
Okay. Arizona looked like they really came out wanting to win and executing the win. The Aztecs, maybe not so much.
I don't think that's it at all.
Okay.
Believe me, they're a different looking football team than they were a year ago. Okay. They got 52 new players on their team since December, and they look different. Okay. So I think Jeb's did a nice job.
Okay. Tell me about Braxton Burmeister. Was he pulled out of the game because of a shoulder nick or for lack of performance?
No, it was more his shoulder. We're just trying to take care of him. You know, we'll see how he is.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens with Braxton Burmeister and whether or not he'll get the start in game 2. I'm assuming he will get the start in game 2. And you got to question, was it really a shoulder injury? Was it a fine opportunity to get another quarterback in there to see if Haskell could make something happen?
Yeah, I think we'll see Burmeister again, but I had a lot of disappointment in this Aztecs offense. I was finally hoping to see them kind of spread it out, throw it a little bit more for the longest time. And they have a great run game. We've watched them run the ball well, but I wanted more, but it seemed like first down, run it, second down, run it, third down, incomplete pass, punt and move on. And I think a lot of the offense that we did see was just sparked by the defense in the first place. So I was disappointed in this Aztecs offense. And look, it's game 1, long season ahead of us. Who knows how it will develop, but yeah, I was turned off by what I saw in a sense of the Aztecs offense.
Yeah, Marcus Greaves made a great point in the pregame show in that the first game is always the ugliest game.
Yes.
And the way this first game started, the Aztecs offense, first 2 possessions, 3 and out, 3 and out. Meanwhile, Arizona goes on a 16-play drive and a 7-play drive, and they just set the tone. And the Aztecs had their moments, but Arizona just kept sticking it down the throat of San Diego State. So, and getting back to what Coach Brady Hoke said, I said, it looked like Arizona came in motivated. The Aztecs not so much. much. He, of course, disagreed to back up his team, but I just saw an Arizona squad come in here and just knock the teeth in San Diego State.
Yeah, the play didn't disagree. He can say what he wants. That's what a coach does, a good coach at least, right?
Yeah.
But the play showed that they weren't as motivated. Arizona came out and just stuck it to them, and that's all you can say about it, all right? I mean, it was dominated chunk play after chunk play for Arizona. They got some great play out of their quarterback. That's really what the writing was on the wall the whole game.
Yeah. We are going to have more on this football game, highlights, and maybe more from Brady Hope coming up. But other things going on. Rosie, our new reporter at CBS 8, I don't know what she's doing after the game right now. Was she checking out the trolley and the fans? Is that what's going on?
Hopefully Rocio's having a better time than we are here baking on the field. Rocio.
Hey guys, it is a very big
that people were dealing with. Kickoff temperature 100 degrees, the highest ever in the history of Aztecs football, home or away. And Jake, I spent part of the time, most of the time up in the air-conditioned press box, but I did spend some time going to the other side of the stadium, and there were thousands of people hovering in the shade. And if you were watching this football game at home, it did not look like a sellout. It was announced as a sellout, over 34,000 fans.
Yeah, the heat took its toll, and I don't mean to make an excuse for why the building wasn't packed, but I mean, you and I talked about it all pregame show. We're talking about it now. It is hotter than blazes down here.
Yep.
Sitting out there for an entire game, especially when the team's not playing well,
yep,
that's a tough ask. And so, you know, the student section brought a lot of energy, and the fans were here in the beginning, but it did fill out. I mean, by the time this clock clicked to zero, maybe 1,000 fans in here, and so, I mean, unfortunately, it's going to come. Bad play, hot heat. What do you expect?
Yeah, 1,000 fans, and they were all Arizona Wildcat fans and, and the band. Right now, we're going to throw it back to the studio where Marcus Greaves is going to bring us some highlights, unfortunately, and some lowlights of this game. I like your hotter than blazes. My dad used to say hotter than blue-blooded blazes, and one hot guy, Marcus Greaves.
One hot
guy. Wow, that's what I'm talking about, John Howard. Oh, I guess we are.
Look.
Hey, we're feeling great in here, man. The game, it was a tough one, but, you know, it made it a little better that Steve and I got to sit in here in the nice, cool studio. I'm sorry, y'all. It was a tough one, I understand.
You know. Next year we swap positions.
Did you notice we moved to the shade? At least we snuck our way over here into the shade.
You know.
You guys look great, man. Keep doing your thing, man. Stay cool.
Come on now. Steve Price, we appreciate you being here as well, and it'll be interesting now to see the USC Trojans take on the Arizona Wildcats
later. He's worried.
Later this season, he might be a little bit worried. You know, another thought about the game before we go to commercial break. Fast forwarding to the fourth quarter, the fact that the Aztecs scored on that botched punt, and then a quick field goal, and then the next time they had the ball, they were conceding the game, punting away on 4th and 5, and then a quick 3-and-out by Arizona, and then running the ball when I felt there was enough time to maybe, hopefully, do some no-huddle and get the hurry-up offense going. They didn't do it.
Yeah, I don't want to be harsh. Again, it's
I do. I want to win. I'm an Aztec.
It's game one, but I used embarrassing off the top. I don't use that word lightly. There were moments where they're running the ball and there's 10 minutes left and you're down by 18. And you just go, you know, what are we doing? What are we doing? Are we trying here? We're done, right? So, again, tough situation, tough game, and not the best way you want to open a stadium, but hey, you move on, and that's the game.
Yeah, as you said, as we said at the top, it didn't go as planned, but what are you going to do? All right, coming up after the break, we sit down with Marshall Faulk. He was honored at the game today, and we had a chance to catch up with him. Stay with us. The Aztecs post-game show continues right after this. Welcome back to the Aztecs post-game show. Jake Garegnani and John Howard live at Snapdragon Stadium. And the Aztecs lose today. What was it, Jake? 38-20.
Still up on the board. 38-20 there, Eagle Eyes.
We need to erase that. All right, we've already talked about the first quarter and how Arizona dominated. We've talked about the fourth quarter where I thought the Aztecs should have made a bigger push to come from behind. But there was an interesting section of plays at the end of the second quarter where I thought the Aztecs might be turning this thing around.
Yeah, this was the moment you and I were sitting up in the press box together, and I said, this may be where they get it going, right? The Aztecs get an interception. Noah Tumblin, the Mira Mesa guy, makes a huge play, stopped all of the Wildcats' momentum, and then here we go, a rushing touchdown, and all of a sudden the Aztecs are right in this game, but those pesky penalties, John, that thing gets called back, and all of a sudden the Aztecs lose their momentum, and then Arizona gets a pick of their own right here. You see it on your camera, and that, I mean, all but squashed squash it, and that didn't end the momentum enough, then this would, right? The Wildcats, a short touchdown pass off of that turnover, that pick, that put Arizona up 24-10, and at that point, it really felt a little bit out of reach the way the offense had been playing. I wasn't sure whether Haskell or Burmeister at the time was going to get this offense back in the game. Turns out they weren't able to. But to me, that was the key sequence that really put this game away for the Aztecs. And you say, hey, that's an early sequence to be assuming that puts the game away. But all of a sudden, the Aztecs, that doesn't get called back, and they're in the end zone. You got yourself a really close ball game, and honestly, all the momentum in your lap.
Yeah, as we mentioned again off the top, Arizona set the tone in the first quarter, and the Aztecs had their moments, but Arizona didn't go away. Arizona never folded, and they played like a team you'd want to root for. They really came out and they were motivated, beginning to end, shutting down the Aztecs, any chances at the end of the game, securing the victory. We'll have to see what happens with the Aztecs next week. During our pregame show, we had a chance to sit down with Marshall Faulk. Obviously, he's probably the most accomplished football player coming out of San Diego State.
I would say without a doubt, most likely.
Can't really think of anybody else. But Marshall Faulk had a chance, and he was recognized at halftime here at Snapdragon Stadium. We chatted with him pregame. We'll take a look at that.
That was obviously pregame, but one thing I want to take away from that is the excitement. Everybody was so excited about this, and I don't want that to be taken away. This stadium is going to be here for a long time. Yes, this did not go well today, but this stadium will be amazing. It will be packed. There will be epic moments here. So I want to hold on to that a little bit like that pregame with Marshall.
That's a great job, Jake. Way to keep us pumping. One thing I will add, even though the producer is telling me to wrap, he talked about he thinks it's going to be louder with the steeper angle of the seats and the fans closer. I will say, when I walked around the stadium during that second quarter possession that you were talking about, I was holding an aluminum can, and you could feel it vibrating. So that gives you a feel.
It was loud.
It was loud. It was loud. It's pretty cool. So come on out to the next game. Okay, coming up after the break, we sit down and hear from Craig Thompson, the commissioner of the Mountain West Conference, get his thoughts on the new digs here at Snapdragon Stadium. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Snapdragon Stadium. John Howard and Jake Garegnani after the Aztecs suffer a 38-20 loss to Arizona. Jake, technology these days, we are able to go around and gather news content with our phones. And what's great about an assignment like this today, we search long and hard, 100-degree heat, climbing stairs, doing all kinds of difficult work to bring you prime interviews.
Yeah, so let me tell the truth to this story. We walk up in the press box, and a guy's in our seat. We say, excuse me, sir, and he turns around, and it's Craig Thompson, the commissioner of the Mountain West, and that's when we decided to put our brains together and pull our cell phone out and ask Craig what he thought about Snapdragon Stadium.
Craig, your thoughts about the new facility here? How do you like it?
Oh, it's fantastic. You know, real credit to the community of San Diego State University, all the people involved in it. But I'm still shocked and amazed that shoveling ground 26 months later, this beautiful stadium is right here today opening.
Yeah, how does it compare to some of the other facilities in the Mountain West?
It reminds me a little bit of Canvas Stadium at Colorado State, and I know J.D. Wicker and his staff spent some time in Fort Collins. A lot of similarities, but it's so fantastic and it's so San Diego to have the little different areas and the food trucks and the pods and the different parts of representing all the parts of San Diego.
Awesome. I think that's all we need. Any other thoughts you want to say about it?
No, this is just great. Congratulations to the entire community for getting this done, and it's going to serve them as a wonderful home for years to come.
So after climbing endless amounts of stairs in the 100-degree heat, we got to talk to Craig Thompson, so we appreciate that, Craig. And then, John, you ran into a bit of a fan favorite, didn't you?
We did, yeah. I was out roaming around in the heat again and came across an old crowd favorite, Monty Montezuma. Many of the old alums might remember Carlos Gutierrez is his name. And I got a quick soundbite with him, and then I ran into him a second time, and he kind of reversed roles, and he started interviewing me. Carlos, by the way, is currently a real estate agent. I don't know if that comes up in this interview, but take a look at my run-in with Monty Montezuma. Hey, real quick, your thoughts on the new stadium?
Oh, the new stadium is beautiful, gorgeous. 4 years, and they got it done. It's amazing. Remember, they did use the identity of the Aztec Warrior to get everybody on board to create this amazing space here for all the alumni, fans. Look at everybody going off. It's great. Got to bring back the Aztec Warrior. We love San Diego State. Go Aztecs.
All right, Go ahead.
I was just going to say, producer Todd V's tired of your FaceTime. You didn't get in the Manny Montezuma interview. It said enough of Howard.
I know. I set it up that he was interviewing me, and then Todd goes, "Oh, we didn't use that
Too much
part."
FaceTime for Johnny Boy here.
It is. I'm going to leave right now. You can tease the next thing. Do we know what we're teasing next?
We're teasing a break. Stick around. More of the post-game show coming right up. Get out of here, Howard.
Here at Snapdragon Stadium, Jim.
Yeah, and it kind of goes back to that point. You hope that energy comes back next week, and you know, all the home games here. Just because today didn't go well doesn't mean it's all over by any means. But there were other football games today, of course. You know. Today disappointing, but back there in the studio, Marcus Greaves and company have what I believe to be some of the plays around college football.
And company.
And company, huh?
Company.
And company. I don't like to say Steve Price. I don't like to say the word Steve Price.
You're still mad because I'm kicking your butt in fantasy baseball. That's fine. I'm good with it. I'm fine with it. You know, he is right. I mean, tossing it back to you.
Marcus and company, back to you guys.
All right, guys, thank you very much. You know what they say about Steve? The price is right. One thing I don't want to forget to mention here. What? Steve Price, his last name. You know you've blown the joke when you have to explain it. But one thing I do want to mention, the USD Toreros, we don't want to forget about them. They kick off their season tonight at 6 o'clock at home against Laverne. So that's coming up in about an hour and 10 minutes or so.
Go Toreros, and we got a little bit more left ahead here on the post-game show. Stick around. Well, welcome back to the post-game show here live at Snapdragon Stadium. And John, during the pre-game show, we got a chance to talk to one of my favorite people and a guy that's just such a great interview.
Yeah, he's been fun to talk to since he was a football player here at San Diego State. And then he played for the Chargers, and he's a great guy, and he's gone on to have a career in television, so he's very natural on camera. But we got the chance to talk to Akbar Gbaja-Biamila. Here it is. Akbar Gbaja-Biamila, a personality and a half. He kind of reminds me of myself, you know, when he ripped off his shirt in the Ninja Warrior. That guy is cut.
You know, TV personalities, they got to stay fit, they got to stay in shape, just like you and I. You know, that's why we look so. Nah, he's great. I love Akbar. John, we're wrapping up this show. Your final thoughts on today? Obviously, nothing really went well, but what do you think about today?
Well, my final thoughts. If we get back to our predictions on the game, I predicted a 24-10 victory for the Aztecs. A touchdown favorite they were. I called them to win by 2 touchdowns, 14 points. It didn't happen. It's discouraging. Your prediction was
28-13. Yeah, obviously we didn't know what Arizona was going to be like. We were both wrong, but look, this was a non-conference game. The Aztecs season, this June bug's in my way, the Aztecs season is far from over, right? All the conference games to play. I don't think this should dictate their whole season. Maybe it's a good thing. Maybe getting your tail kicked in week 1 will catapult them off. That's Mr. Optimism.
It is, and as Phillip Rivers used to say, today's loss only means we can't go 12-0. That means they can go 11-1. Brady Hoke has his work cut out for him, as does the Aztecs. On behalf of Jake Garegnani, John Howard, thanks for joining us, and let's look forward to more great memories here at Snapdragon Stadium. Have a great day.